Let's take you live to one of the worst impacted areas. Kristie Lloyd is live for us in Windsor, northwest of Sydney. Kristie, what are things like there at the moment?
Well, we're starting to see the river levels receding here at Windsor, although they are doing so very, very slowly. For the Hawkesbury-Nepean region, this is now the worst flooding disaster that we've seen since 1978. For some regions, though, downstream of Windsor, including Sackville and Lower Portland, it's the worst flooding that they've experienced since 1964. So this is a widespread, devastating event that is currently impacting thousands of people across this region. We've still got a few light showers here this morning across the Windsor region, but nothing too heavy. As I mentioned, those river levels are slowly starting to recede. I was speaking with one resident earlier whose house was affected, and they were saying that the wait now is almost just as nerve-wracking as the wait for watching those river levels rising in the last couple of days. They now just have to sit and wait for these river levels to recede before they can assess the situation and get on with what is going to be another lengthy recovery effort. Now, for some residents in the southwest of Sydney, the SES has advised that they may be able to return to their homes throughout today once they have conducted risk assessments in some of those southwestern Sydney suburbs, and they will be allowed to return cautiously to their homes today. Although we are starting to see the river levels dropping, the rainfall easing across the Sydney region, authorities are advising residents to remain alert.
In some good news, the rain is starting to ease across Sydney and those floodwaters are just starting to recede. But all of the river systems right across the Sydney Basin are still full and many of them still at a major flood level.
While here at the Hawkesbury River and for the Hawkesbury-Nepean region, the focus will slowly start to turn to recovery efforts. Further north, the situation is worsening. We are seeing, as you mentioned just earlier, the town of Broke has been completely cut off in what authorities are warning could be a life-threatening emergency situation for that township. Overnight, we also had multiple air rescues taking place around Tuggerah Lakes on the central coast of New South Wales, in particular around Long Jetty, where emergency services had to airlift some residents to safety, and the New South Wales SES went around door knocking, urging residents to evacuate. We have major flooding occurring around Tuggerah Lakes on the central coast at the moment, and major flooding for the Hunter River as well across that region. Now, we're also expecting to see a fair bit of wet weather today further north of that area. Here's what emergency services had to say earlier.
That's very much where we're expecting the focus of the rainfall to be today. Over the last 24 hours, we have seen numerous sites from Coffs Harbour down through the Manning into the Hunter district see rainfall totals above 100 millimetres, and some have seen close to 170, 180, particularly up on the northern part of the mid-north coast.
So on top of that rain that we've already seen across parts of the mid-north coast, the Bureau of Meteorology is warning that we could see rainfall totals, or 6-hourly rainfall totals, in excess of 200 millimetres across parts of the mid-north coast today, potentially leading to life-threatening flash flooding. It is going to be quite a dangerous situation as that wet weather unfolds across the mid-north coast today, and that is where the focus for emergency services will turn to throughout the afternoon and evening.
Kristie Lloyd live there in Windsor. Appreciate the update, thank you. And we will keep across the flooding situation for you throughout the afternoon. As we mentioned, the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, is touring some of the impacted areas. So when we see those pictures and any further comments from the Prime Minister, of course, we'll bring you them live here on Sky News.